I want to say something about fear. Anyone who takes an interest in the Cuban Missile Crisis automatically jumps into a great big bucket of fear. I want to say something about two different kinds of fear. We're all familiar with it. We're all afraid of certain kinds of things. I mean, what? You're afraid of being attacked, or eating something that's not good for you, or not being accepted by the people you want to be accepted by, not getting into the right college, not doing whatever, getting the right job. It's fear. It's anxiety provoking. It doesn't feel good. But it also kind of can sometimes motivate you. Fear often disrupts our rational decision making. We're afraid, we run, or we're afraid, we act impulsively sometimes. Not always, but sometimes. Now that we're familiar with. We're all familiar with that. That's biologically driven. That's how we're made. It's how we evolved. But there's another kind of fear. Another kind of fear comes from the burden of responsibility on your shoulders, where you're not only looking out for yourself, but for others. That's where it starts. Now, families are groups of people, and parents look out for their children, and parents are afraid that they'll do the wrong thing and it will lead to a bad outcome for their children. But let's magnify this now. Let's say you're in charge of the nuclear button. You've got your finger on the button, and your family, in this case, is an entire nation. And you've gotten yourself into a fix. You've gotten yourself into a crisis. We all know what that's like. It just doesn't feel good. You don't have enough time. You don't have enough information. It's not good. But this time, what rides on it might be the total destruction of your society. Now, that kind of fear is rather different. That's a kind of, I'll call it, man-made kind of fear, because first you have to have a nation and a government and technology and so forth, and out of that we have governance systems, and people sit at the top of these, and in countries that have nuclear weapons, somebody has to make the decision, or might have to make the decision about whether to punch that button or not. That kind of fear, I'm inclined to call it something else. You could call it anxiety. The old German word works pretty well, Angst. Isn't that great? Angst. It means I'm afraid, but I can't actually put my finger on what I'm afraid of. I'm not putting my finger out there on a bullet. I just don't know what's going to happen, and the outcome could be horrendous. That's different. That requires that a great deal of responsibility is put onto your shoulders, and at a given point in a crisis, you feel you are not up to the task, and that the outcome of this could be, because of your inadequacies, because of your mistakes, could be horrible consequences for all the people for whom you are responsible.